Does your dog often shake its head? It could be suffering from ear problems. If it does, here to tell us more, welcome vet Megan Alderson, and this is our very special guest. This is Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, say hi to Mum. She's at home watching.
Is she? Hey, Mum. She is so beautiful. And Cinnamon did have ear problems, but is all fixed.
Absolutely.
How common are they in dogs?
We see them every single day.
Really?
So, yeah, it's a horrible problem. If you've ever had an ear infection yourself, you'll know how much they hurt.
Yeah.
But dogs, like, as per usual, they're pretty quiet about having ear problems. And it's not until it's really bad that you'll actually see them scratching their head or shaking their head.
Those would be the main symptoms to look for. Anything else?
Exactly. And then a
kind
smell.
Of see anything?
Yeah, totally a smell. So if you lift up the pinnae, you'll often see some black or discharge, or a yellowy or grey discharge, and also you'll see the whole ear canal is actually all red and looking, you know, just really sore and inflamed. And so that's, you know, that stage is pretty severe. Leap
in the car and you're off to the vet.
Off to the vet.
Yeah. And what does the vet do?
Well, basically what we do is for every ear consult we use what's called an oroscope.
Yeah.
And we have a look down those ears. Like so basically up around here, down that ear, and having a good look right around the canal. Like with dogs' ears, okay, they're a little bit different to ours. I don't know if you can zoom in on this picture. But basically they have a canal that goes vertical first and then horizontal into the eardrum. And I think with humans, we basically just go straight in.
Right.
So there's a whole heap of area here that can get inflamed. And also, you know, there's not a lot of drainage. Again, we have a problem with, you know, this big U-bend pipe. And so once they've got an infection down there, we really need to do something very quickly about it, because what it can do is actually go through that eardrum and into the middle ear. And then we've got problems.
Balance problems.
Absolutely.
Is it certain breeds that are more affected, or certain types of ears?
Yes, well, it's a good question. We used to think way back when I started being a vet that it was hairy ears were going to be a problem. We think pendulous ears are going to be a problem. We think stenotic ears, which means like pugs and like just little closed ear canals. But what we know now is that those, you know, there's a lot of dogs with those ear types that don't have ear disease. And so what we know now is that that's all a myth. And what we're looking at is a primary problem. What's the primary cause of these ear diseases? And that's oftentimes allergy.
Ah, so certain types of the ear would be worse than others?
Well, it's allergy to food.
Allergy,
not necessarily outside. Not necessarily to outside. It's food allergens, food reactions, but also pollens, generalised, you know, animals that are grasses, flea allergies, all those things can actually end up with the primary reason that they turn up is actually the ear problem.
An allergy to food, is that as simple as fixing that as literally changing the diet? Or,
absolutely. And it's the first thing that we look at if we're getting a recurrent ear problem. So bottom line is, if you've got a dog that, you know, you're constantly ringing the vet, you're constantly chucking in meds, never seems to be healing, then that's when we need to go back and say, what's that primary cause? Of course, a foreign body or a grass seed down there. Ear mites might be another primary cause, sometimes cancers as well. But most of the time it's actually allergy, and what we need to do is rule out first food. So we'll often put you on a novel protein diet, so that might be salmon or duck or rabbit or hare, or, and we oftentimes will take out a lot of the grains out of the diet, like corn, wheat, soy, and we run those on those diets for about 2 months, and then we're checking for improvement. So, yeah, it's actually more complex. Everything can come from the gut, you know, so it's actually very interesting. You know, just because you've got a problem here, you know, it doesn't mean that, you know, the primary cause isn't here.
And, of course, like any animal, they can't talk, so it's being aware of those symptoms, as you said before, they get too bad that, you know, you're in real trouble, eh?
Yeah, well, it's expensive. Like, if we have an ear that hasn't been treated properly, such as it doesn't have the right medication going in, you don't treat it for long enough, not enough medication going in, compliance issues, you know, owners don't like doing it, dogs don't like having it. What it can often do is grow a superbug, okay? So if we don't treat those appropriately, the bugs get worse and worse and worse, and in the end, that whole ear comes out. To go surgically.
From this end of the dog to that end of the dog, let's just talk quickly about a campaign to do a tail docking.
Yes,
I'm very interested in this.
Oh, I know.
I just think it's so horrific.
Well, basically, in New Zealand, we're one of the very few, she's going to show us her tail. Beautiful. That still allow tail docking. So it's still legal in New Zealand.
But there's a heap of countries around the world that they don't allow it.
Exactly. And I think the SPCA have mounted a campaign, the tail wagging campaign. And it's online there. So tailwaggingcampaign.org.nz. And what my vet opinion is that I just want the owners to know what tail docking is all about. So, you know,
is it even necessary?
Well, that's right, and that's what it comes down to is breed standards.
It's aesthetics, isn't it?
It's aesthetics.
Yeah.
So nowadays, I mean, it used to be because they thought it was lessen the rabies and it was for hunting and all sorts of reasons back in the old days for tail docking. But nowadays, those are irrelevant. And I think really the only people who are actually going to stop tail docking are the people that buy the pups that have their tails docked.
Right. Okay.
So really,
so people need to make a change.
Well, just educating yourself around, you know, if you're going to buy a schnauzer, making a decision about, you know, knowing all about that tail docking so you know what you're going to get.
Sounds good indeed. Jump on that website that Megan said, and you can find Megan's fact sheet and all those details on our website. Coming up, we are making a little bit of lean on, isn't he? Coming up, we're making pot roasted chicken with top chef Mikey Newlands. That's right, after this.